Hey guys, it is Ryan, Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions. Yes, you know me, I know again. So you know what? We're going to talk. This is what we're going to do. We're going to bring on the one and only John Timmerman to join us for our One Loft Wednesday. And hey, you're watching the Feathers Elite Racing Pigeon Network. So let's sit back and enjoy the show, but don't sit back. Get typing. Ask your questions. Don't be shy. Me and John can only talk so much, but you guys have a lot on your minds. You have questions, you have comments, you have complaints, you have concerns. You're not sure. You just got a question. Don't be shy. Throw it out there. No question's a bad one. Everyone's a good one. And if it's a bad one, you'll just see us roll our eyes. And you know what? Then you know it's a bad one. But don't worry about that. Reminders to like, share, and subscribe. And in about 60 seconds, we'll bring Johnny T on. All right, guys. It's time to start our One Loft Wednesdays. Okay. Wow, just cut off just like that. That's the way. I like it. Johnny T, you are in the house. Happy One Love Wednesday. Back for another week of, is it punishment or is it fun? What do you think?
No, I
Name a.
enjoy it. When I hear some names from the past and they're tuning in, or I get some feedback during the week, end of the week. People say, "Hey, John, great to hear this, positive," and it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? It takes time to build. We are going to get some guests onto this show as we go on through the season. This is going to be my last Wednesday shooting in Canada, and then I'm going to be in Belgium. So we might every once in a while have Belgium on as well. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But this is my last show here before I move over to Belgium to do that boyhood dream and raise some pigeons in Belgium. Because hey, who doesn't want to do that? You know what I mean? Just a fun dream that you can make a reality, which we're lucky to do. But anyways, John, right now you're in the middle of the. Is it the dream? Let me ask you: Is it in the? Are you in the dream, the reality? Is it the good point, the bad part? What part are you calling this still? You still in the? Is this still the easy stage, or what are you thinking?
Oh no, this is we see a little bit of the light into the tunnel in the next 5 weeks, uh, which is also we could get ready and get on with the game, pulling flights in 5 6 weeks and getting on with the program. Right now, it's just basically, keeping them healthy and settling. And this past week, we had some really horrible weather, so it wasn't a whole lot of action at all. It was more, more just making sure that the birds don't get any colds and nobody goes downhill. But of course, that's never 100% preventable. There are pigeons that are just sometimes they just go to the wayside. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny when the temperature changes how the birds change. And I've noticed in Europe, there's no wire lofts. Like, and I mean there's no wire floors. Like your loft there is pretty much all wire. I like in the California Classic, you've got the strips going around underneath where the birds are and that's. But in Europe, there's no wire lofts. Everything are regular wood lofts. I mean, they might have grates, but the lofts are all solid. Do you think that those graded floors they play a little bit of havoc when the temperature drops?
Oh, 100%. It's the same thing with form on the pigeons with your racing, right? You want that stability of temperature. But,
Mm.
it's like uh, I saw an article, I saw a video a while back of William DeBrown, and he talked about, he had an old loft, nothing fancy. Uh, the pigeons had to adapt to it. And if they couldn't, they're gone. So I
Mhm.
kind of apply that all the birds are equal. All the pigeons go through the same rigmarole. And another person used to say, "You want Ron Steinbrenner?" I mean, he says a champion pigeon is already starting to stand out just when you get 500 pigeons in the loft. As far as can you survive with all the different bacteria and viruses that some of these pigeons carry. That's just part of the game of one loft racing.
Yeah, people don't realize, like, they don't realize one loft racing, it starts so much earlier. When all those pigeons get shipped into the post, and all those pigeons show up at that loft, and all those pigeons go into that loft, and every single day or every week, a new group, a new group, a new group, a new group. So it's all up and down, left and right, up and down, like shit's going on. And people don't realize, hey, yes, when your birds make the finals of these races, they've really accomplished something. They've accomplished a lot of shit. I mean, how many times do you hear about it, John? I hear about guys saying, "Well, oh man, my birds have been on the trailer 2 weeks and they're all full of young bird sickness." Well, technically, what you're doing, John, is by taking these birds in, you're putting them on the trailer when the babies are 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks old. You've already got that all running through those birds, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why I like to see for myself if they can't handle it the first week of just being in a quarantine, getting shots, vaccinations. The pigeons already have a problem, and I mean, I've already had 2 or 3 breeders this year. It's the same guys. Um, One of them, he just sent me pictures. I got to make a phone call. Great person, but I saw when the birds were shipped. They were light, they were off, and some guys just don't have the experience in that yet. And but that's one of the reasons why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because you could get you get into a community with all the pigeons, and if you're not observant, and your community's too big, then things could go wrong real quick. So there's always a control. 300 pigeons, you could control that. Piece of cake. 500 pigeons, piece of cake. You start getting into 1,000 plus, no, it changes.
Yeah, that's right. And people don't realize that. And the other thing, I hope when you contact the people, I know you're professional about it. Anybody contacts you and says, "Hey, we're having some problems." Don't get defensive. Don't say, "Well, I send birds everywhere else and I haven't heard nothing." I'm going to tell you something. That's normally not the case. Don't get defensive. Sometimes, hey, not every round is perfect. You're trying to do your best. Hey, maybe something slips up this way, that way. It's not always perfect. I've seen a whole first round of youngsters, put them all in the bin. Something wasn't right. And I'll tell you, John, my next round of youngsters, it was like I couldn't, what, what's going on? They're completely different. And I had no clue. I've seen it a few times in my life where I've almost shook in my head and goes, first round was for the garbage bin. The second and third round, they were perfect. And you almost don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's very important for the breeders to do all the protocol with their pigeons. And it really helps. They find out the same vaccine that the breeder's using, but they vaccinate early enough when the handler gets the pigeon that it doesn't knock the bird down. 2 3 weeks is ideal. 5 days and then it gets inoculated again after shipment. Some pigeons just can't handle that and they go downhill.
And John, I've tried to say to people, and people think maybe I'm a bit maybe it's a bit weird, but if you're honestly, and my mind looks at it as this, I'm looking for pigeons to show me weakness before I send them. If I'm going to spend big money and send a $150 perch fee and a $500 activation to a race, I want to make sure that I'm putting my homework into the babies that I'm sending, not the paperwork, not the pedigrees. Pedigrees should all be good anyways, right? Okay, pedigrees win. I know. But when you start breaking it down, looking at the youngsters, weaning the youngsters, you wean the youngsters, you're looking. I don't think you need to dunk youngsters. If you wean them and you pour that water in front of them, those youngsters should be looking, bang can hit the water, bang can hit the feed. You should be able to switch them sections, switch them in a basket, a little stress, and see how those young pigeons are reacting. People leaving them with the parents, taking them out of the nest. or taking them out of the loft still with the parents and putting them in a box and shipping them. I think it's like, oh, where did mommy and daddy go? You know what I mean? A
Oh
little
yeah.
bit of hard, put some hard times, some hard stress on them, but watch the pigeons. And I think people, if you watch the pigeons, like you said, you'll see pigeons that fall apart. You'll see pigeons that travel good, that don't travel good. And for people to say, well, how do I make my pigeons travel? Hey, there's nothing wrong with you young pigeons. Put them in a basket, take them to work with you. Give them a drink at work. Look at them at lunchtime. Give them some feed in the basket. Take a look. Think outside the box. That's how winning is done. Get them used to being in a basket. I don't think you're going to lose from it, eh?
Well, you're 100% right when it comes to thinking outside the box. It's the same thing with settling. Um, people, the guy that's cautious with the bird, or you know, PVC stick or a broom, or to get them in, it's important. There's a lot of races where guys can't get them in. Well,
I will say something. We got some comments. So before I say anything else, I'm going to get to the comments because guys are starting to participate. And again, guys, this show works best when you from Hoffman Racing Law. Why? And I'm in the Hoffman Racing Law. Why? And I'm in the next couple. Another comment here. Outside for 2, 3, 4 hours, and you got that little bit of like, are we ever going to get to go in? Are we ever going to get to go in? Give them a call, boom, and they come in. You sort of starve them. Have you ever? Have you ever? And I find when I watch a one loft, I really watch it to try. You'll see the loft managers who put the time in because the birds. Then there's some I almost say like you're getting paid a perch fee for this. Like you're not finishing. You know what I mean? Hey, in your one loft race, you use droppers.
yes,
Now here's a question: do people not fair?
for a dropper.
Yeah, using droppers. They never called the birds
Here's
in.
the when I initially started the California Classic, it was first drop takes all, and over the years, or after a few years, I had to change it. So my first year or two out, I was 90% capital paid to the first drop. And, I've always been kind of a top heavy type race. So with that in mind, uh, you got to get that bird down. Now, mind you, I've had 1 or 2 years where things kind of go fiasco. It happens, especially in my backyard. I get a few hundred people and they're 30 feet from the loft. Different than anyone else has really ever seen. These one loft races now, they're in a canopy, they're in a hotel, and you got to get the bird in, and you can't get your birds down in if they go sit down the hall, down on a neighbor's house, or on the back of the loft, or they go sit down, whatever. Can't happen. It's not supposed to happen. We've got guys here in San Diego that have been flying a long time, and I guess I don't like to fail, and here did something bad.
Mhm.
Or it's blowing pretty strong. We toss the dropper and it causes a different drop. The problem is to get that bird down. You cannot. What a shame to have 5 pigeons not drop and then another 5 join it, or another 7. And I'm not saying it hasn't happened to me, because I had a 50 bird drop once, and it happened fast. So I know it does. You need to do what you got to do to get them in. I mean, none of us are perfect in that respect, but you got to try. Like I said, if you had assholes in your backyard like I do, I mean, it just bugs you. You got to do it. You got to get it right.
Yeah, and I do I mean, I do think it's great when I'm watching a one loft handler call the birds in, and he's trapping the birds, and he's treating all the birds equally, but he's putting on a show. He's showing the first birds coming in good. He's showing the whole way through. Birds are coming, coming, coming. He's paying that equal respect. I like that. I like it a lot better than I remember there going back years ago. I remember the $1 million race. They just let the birds sit on the board, and it looked so odd. But everyone runs. See the handlers that put the work in because to get those birds tuned up. And again, I know you race your own birds, John, but you have to admit every year. when you're running that one Loft race and you get down to that final week, or those races that you're putting on, that's for you, I believe, the best races of the year for you. Those that you're putting on, got the spotlight on you, you got the crowd there, there's a lot of money, and people are watching you do what you do best. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. You know, and you're always going to have your critics, but you know, if you do your homework and you try to stay on top of it, you'll get through it. Um, I've been to races before where pigeons land on the ball that got something to say all the time, but it's happened so many times. You
Yeah.
know, and what's interesting is these guys that always have something to say. As soon as it happens to them, they don't say much anymore.
No, they're quite quiet. Um, I do find I will say if I go to a race and I've done it before, and birds come from 300 miles and they're sitting on the roof for 2 or 3 minutes, I I instantly throw up a flag, a red flag, and I say this is something's not right here. Either A, the pigeons aren't at the spot, something's wrong because normal combine pigeons at 300 miles, the first ones that trap good, there's no problem. They should self trap. But I've seen it just too many times where I kind of question what am I looking at here? What have I paid? What have I paid for? I want to see a guy work those damn, I mean, start to finish. Give it to me. I want to show. And I agree with you. You always hear the loud, and they can't trap pigeons. The pigeons land on the other roof. Like, what's going on?
It's just, like I said, in my scenario, nobody there to where all of a sudden you got canopies and tables and tents and you got 200-300 people within 30-40 feet, and that's just part of the show. And I'm always nervous that, if I've been very fortunate, pigeons have dropped, but face it, the pigeons aren't used to something, they go crazy on you sometimes.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think one of your race has it, where you're right there in the backyard. You're very very close to the pigeons. And the other race that was like that was at Ron's. I mean, Ron's was really. I know the modern day pigeon guys today. I don't think they would be able to wrap their head around it on what
No.
was going on there. The birds were literally hitting you in the head to see, and it's so funny. I talk to pigeon men, pigeon guys.
They're racing, they know to stay away from wires, anything like that, and it's, their injuries are a lot higher.
Yeah,
So
well, they get used to it, but I mean, again, you have your backyards or whatever. The pigeons, they do get used to it as long as you don't make excuses. And I will absolutely hate that when I go to the club, or even if I have guys come over when we have our race. They say, well, shoot me one. Hey, Ryan and John, there's a lot of questions here. Last on a training truck 2 times. Each I lost 3 birds. I raced this weekend and was 20 minutes behind. Okay, 20 minutes behind. I'm recovering. Hold on. It was on Sunday. I put my bird back one at a time, and I lost 6 birds. Why is he confused? Let's see. I got to scroll up here. Why is he confused? What's going on, and why my birds are not making the return back properly? They're eating. They're eating. They're darkening. Their droppings are good. Color pigment good, pink. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on because it's very old birds, 2 and 3 years old. Now, what are you
well,
thinking here? It's a
you could
long
be
one,
feeding
man.
you could be feeding too heavy of a mix, and you might be feeding too much. Golden rule: an ounce per bird. And don't get into, you got to be careful with, and I'm just assuming, because a lot of guys do, they get the fancy mixes. A lot of those heavy mixes and stuff that you get from Verslaga, they're not needed until you get to the 400, 500. All this other stuff, they just need cereal grains.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing too, I like to just I don't like to get my birds on a training truck. I just like to do my own training. I like to work my birds in their own group. I like to break them down to small groups. I know these are 2 or 3 year olds. I mean, what kind of condition are they in? What kind of loft flying are they doing? How long have they been out? There's so many things that add up to this, you know? But it's a good question. What's the answer?
Well, I mean, hey, maybe your pigeons got canker, maybe they got malaria. Those are all the things I would start with. Maybe you have a respiratory problem.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's 100%. You know, you see how they're acting, how they're loft flying. How are they training in their own group? Take a look at some of that stuff. Is there some other problems? Are they overweight, like John said? Again, respiratory canker. You don't know. Uh, How are they? Did you raise around the youngsters out of them? How did the youngsters turn out? If the youngsters all turned out like shit, there's something definitely wrong. But good
I mean,
question. That's a big question.
my suggestion is, you know, you look at a Bayer's catalog, you look at Pete DeWeer as far as all the different programs that he offers for pigeons. You look at Tolleson products, and you go from there, and then you can see what pigeons have these issues, and then you could administer from there on. For someone to come in and say, "Yeah, this is the problem," I don't know. Until I saw the pigeon, I could just suggest, but that's where I would start.
Yeah. And again, I know it's got to be concerning to you have 2 or 3 year olds, old birds, but yeah, sometimes the age don't matter. But hey, it's a good question. It's a long question. I hope we could help you a little bit. But there's something definitely underlining, uh, for sure. You know, I don't know. And what do you think, John, about guys group training? You think it's good? Is it your favorite? Is it your not favorite? What do you think?
No, I always like to release in smaller flocks, and I do that just because I don't like pigeons to get, I don't like them to crash.
No.
When the crash hit wires and stuff. But I like, if I have the time, 3 to 5 birds for a release.
Okay, so no, but what I'm getting at is like let's say you, me, and two other guys, we're all in the same club, and we say, okay, we're gonna go training tomorrow together. Or do you like to go in a group of guys, or even if you go in a group of guys, you'll say, hey, you guys let yours out how you want. I'm gonna do my own thing. What do you prefer?
Well, this year I trained with a competitive person that he lives a little bit better than I do in the bowling alley. And
Mhm.
I chose to train with him just to get him. I actually trained a little bit more on their line. And I did that because sometimes it's topography. Pigeons are coming the way they're going to come, the lay of the land.
Mhm.
And so my philosophy was, okay, I'm going to train with them, and then when I stretch them out, I'll be on my own and keep them, try to keep them on my line of flight. And I mean, this is my second year from this location, and I think I did fairly well. I mean, I was in the top 10, 4 or 5 races consistently.
Hmm. So you don't mind then letting them out with other guys' birds?
No, not when it's just training. They got a break because on my line of flight and my competition here, most of these guys are on the west side of town. I'm pretty much 1 or 2 guys the farthest east, and for whatever reason, those guys they got a big drag on the west side of town. That's 90%, 95% of those pigeons all going that way, especially when it's fairly easy race. So by having my birds learn to break as soon as the more times they learn to break from them, that gives me an edge when it really matters to get longer rather than following the flock.
Okay. All right, so I see it again. That's not what John likes. I'm a little different. I normally don't train with guys. If I go driving, I let them do what they want. Then I'm gonna do after. And I normally don't like to really tell guys what I'm doing when I'm training. I think it's kind of the mystery of it. But I know people like to save on gas money and that. But I'll always say I will not train with guys until my birds were 50, 60 times on their own, doing their own thing, working their own
Yeah.
way. And then I'll say, okay, hey, John, we're going to go together. Okay, fine. We'll go for a little toss. Let's see how we do. Brian says, really enjoy watching. I give RP vac, then PHA. Sure, miss the RPC. If you guys want to give us your the best chance you have to vaccinate your birds. I think Brian likes to vaccinate, is what he's saying.
No, he's precaution. He's cautious, but yeah, I mean, if you for me, if you just hit them with RP, that kind of takes care of all of it. And if they get a booster second time around, it's good. If you choose to do a pox vaccine on your own ahead of time, that's just a bonus to you. Because if the pigeons pull through, you don't need to send them when they're still, if they're a little older and they get through, those illnesses, because they are going to be a little, face it, any vaccine, you're knocking them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So by holding them at home for an extra week, you're able to see if the pigeons bounce back, and then you send them. Because
Yeah.
even for the guys that do this procedure, that have to put them in the box, that knocks them down as well. 2 days, 3 days, and you just want to ensure that the birds have enough pep to come back when they're knocked down like that.
I did an interview with Chris de Becker in Belgium. You guys, if you go on our website or our YouTube channel, Feathers Elite Racing Pigeons, there's a loft tour I did with Chris de Becker, one of the first ones I did. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you how I vaccinate, and you're probably going to think I'm nuts. But it was literally almost every 15 days. He ended up doing, I think, 7 vaccines. And he would hit everything twice except for pox. And it was just every 15 days, boom, boom, boom. And I said, well, why are you doing so much? And he said, since I've been doing this, it's just worked out. He says, I try to leave no stone unturned. Now, for guys going into the one lot races, you send in birds. I mean, hey, when is it too early to vaccinate? Can you vaccinate them at 20 days old in the nest, or is that too early?
Well, when they're already pinned and 3 weeks, yeah, you could inoculate them.
Okay. So, I mean, guys, there is no problem. If you send your birds 40, 50 days old, you can get 2, 3, 4 vaccines into them on a 2 or 3 week period, which you can do it. Michael Peebler says, is John flying old birds to the nest or on widowhood? John, what's your answer?
I've tried it all. Of course, it's exciting when you got hens sitting long on eggs. But here in San Diego, we've got 1 or 2 flyers that fly them on the nest. They love it. But then, as a whole, um, just flying them to the perch, the pigeons do. If they're good and you're watching the feeding and everything else that goes with it, they're going to come. Good pigeons are good pigeons. I think that you could fly on the nest and you could get that peak performance, but once they go over, well, that's it. You're not catching it. When you're flying celibate, you could keep the form going a lot longer.
And are you saying guys there are basically flying basic just hen celibate?
Oh yeah, some of
Yeah,
them,
not
some of them do they open it up, but we're at a point now where I just fly the hens celibate.
Do you find the widowhood cock, that romance, is that kind of the old school way?
Yeah, over here the hens dominate. I mean, I always talk about the Russian. We had a 4:30 this week, and he did get a day bird, and it was a cock, and uh, which it was a brutal race, and it was a good pigeon. I mean, but I just think as on average, they're just more hens better than cocks,
Yeah.
and maybe I mean, I'm not. 2-3 years from now, we'll see. I'm going to let some of these cocks develop, and I'm flying with a friend of mine bred me some gabbies, so we'll see how good they are after 2-3 years. Maybe there'll be a little bit more fire in them. Maybe I'll try something different. Put them on the nest, the cocks, not the hens. The hens I'll keep celibate.
Well, the hens, when you're flying them celibate, Are you? Do they pair to you? Do they pair up together? Do you allow them to pair together,
No,
or do you,
no, because I fly these birds week in and week out,
just to the
and
perch? And
yeah,
they don't queer. Do you let them go down on eggs or before or no?
no, no, no.
No cocks. Just push them out and let them go, and you're quite impressed with how they go.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, like I said, the last few weeks, I've been spot on, and mind you, you got to have the right birds for the team. Good pigeons are going to be good pigeons, but it's a question of if you lose that form through on the nest, yeah, you could get that motivation. You get a pigeon that's sitting so long, and then all of a sudden you got a 1,800 yard race, which the pigeon ideally on the nest isn't really suited for a 1,800 yard race. It's more suited for 12, 11, 12. That's when it's got the motivation to keep going. We fly a fast course, and so the pigeons, they go every week, and you just gotta, you gotta keep the diet right.
Yeah. Now, when you're flying those celibate hens, you find that they need more road training, less road training. Do they loft fly good? You don't have to loft fly them as much. What are you playing with them? Like,
No,
what's your way?
I know guys that train, 3, 4 times a week. I just based it on what I think the weather's going to look like towards the end of the week. And I did make a mistake. One of my guys, he was supposed to be on a Friday, and he was going to come get him. His name is Denny, and yeah, he didn't get up in time, so he let me down, and that was the race I fell. Huh, Denny? Fucking Denny. But
Uh,
no. Otherwise, I like to give him a 50, 60 mile toss. That was the only race I fell. You can't forget that. That's in the books.
yeah, you remember it though. Hey, Kevin says, hey, so to answer your question, my birds were released by themselves, 16 of them this morning. They were treated for respiratory. They were also treated for canker. So none of those issues are in the loft. The feed that I am giving them is 14% protein, and fat is only 3.9%, and the carbohydrates, wow, says the carbohydrates are 61%. Okay.
Are you flying in celibate?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, again, Kevin, I don't know. We're not there. I don't know why you have a bad toss. It's funny. I was talking to Lars in Belgium, and his uncle had his young birds out, 35 young birds, starting to go about 20 minutes, and 30 birds went up. He never got one back. He just gone. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
buddy Lars this year, 20 went up one day, gone. Sometimes I don't know what happens. Sometimes things are hard to explain.
Oh, 100%. Especially nowadays. You don't know if it's the cell towers or if it's because of the winds, the turbulence. Like in my neck of the woods, flying these OLRs. I have to be very careful to get them to fly real strong. It's there's none of that's necessary. Not till the weather changes and gets a little better. And I do like it when it gets a little warmer, so they don't want to go. Because if it's cool and it's breezy, they want to go. And it's not necessary. The race isn't for another 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in hindsight, your race, you really have to be patient with it, to not push too early and just let it naturally roll. Between both lots now, the California Classic and the Royal Cup, are you noticing any difference in the pigeons? Is one healthier than the other? Is one flying
No,
a little better?
the Royal Cup's a little bit more dialed in with trap training and all that, just because of the way it's situated. The California, it's a routine. We had to move birds over to another wing, and that loft was, I put it together in a course of 20 some years, and we make do. That's why I called it an antique loft, but it does work. And when it comes down to race day, the California always seems to have a better race than the Royal. So the Royal's a high dollar race, a high dollar loft. So it has nothing to do. It's just what makes the birds feel comfortable. Aesthetics doesn't, it's nice. It's nice for the eye, but it's what the pigeons feel comfortable with.
Yeah, my dad sometimes says to me, pigeon lofts are sometimes the way man builds it, they build it for themselves instead of what's really good for the pigeon. I know uh, Xavier Verstrada, another great Belgian, another great loft tour. He said, you build the loft and you have to build cozy little dark spots for the pigeons and little small little things. And you can hear the systems of that they fly. Now, I know a one loft is different, but guys, they don't ever look at this. You know, I think people miss some of that stuff, or they've never thought about it. But you got to make the loft cozy and for the pigeons, not so much for the show. You know what I mean? But one loft race, you got to make it for the show because people are always looking and wanting to throw mud. But I that's just what we're talking about here. Making a loft comfortable. I think people overdo it. You know what I mean? And they don't give enough ventilation, or they don't do things right.
Well, that's the most important, right? The ventilation has to be right. That's here in Southern California, we don't hit many days when it's 45, 50. I mean, ideally we're in the 60s. And of course now with this whole new weather pattern, I mean, things are a little on the warmer side. So having the open grade is ideal. Um, we don't get a lot of respiratory. Now we could get into eye colds, but eye colds is always seasonal. June when the birds start molting, we'll start seeing a little bit more of that. But as far as dust and all that, no, I don't have those issues. And it's better for myself. All the years of doing it, I mean, because there's a bloom as the birds get. You start getting big numbers, and you're in the loft, and you're working with the birds more. I mean, it's bad for you.
Mhm.
I mean, that's my suggestion for any of you guys that have pigeons. I mean, get yourself a respirator, not just a mask. Get a respirator and wear it. It's because yeah. I'm not
Hey,
there yet, but man, shit. I want to be 60 and be able to be functional in all ways.
yeah, hey, John, if you did smoke, it'd be probably the healthiest thing you did because it's so funny. The pigeon dust, when you're a pigeon man your whole life, like you were from a little boy, growing up in pigeons, you've probably smoked 10,000 million cartons of cigarettes. You know what I mean? And it is terrible. I was also going to say, I've seen a lot of people, I see guys in the US, uh, and I want to talk about this. I've tried it, individual breeding pens. Guys, I see these guys. Your pens that the birds come in and you put them in
Mhm.
that holding room or that holding pen. I see guys trying to breed youngsters in these, and I just say it's not comfortable. The quality of the youngsters never comes out right. I've tried it before just to say I tried it. I'm not impressed. But when you build those individual breeding pens where the birds can go up and down and they can move a little bit, the quality of the youngsters go way, way up. Do you notice the same? Have you seen that before, John, as well?
Well, I mean, I have friends that do breed in the small cages, and they've done very well. Um, I have other friends that they kept an eye on how where birds were bred. Those that bred, like you said, in the smaller cages, and those that were bred in an open, bigger open environment, and yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get better quality pigeons when you let the birds have the space. Um, Confined, it's rough. It's rough on the bird, right? They get overweight, and yeah, there's just the condition. I mean, people don't realize that the health of the parents is what's going to be given on to the babies. And okay, one year you had a great season off that pair, but the following year, if you left those pigeons, and a lot of guys do that, they'll just leave the cock, or they'll separate one and leave them in that pen, and the pigeon is a prisoner in that cage. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, all these things that you can do to keep your breeders healthy, will show in your young birds. And I mean, I'm going to bring it up. I mean, some guys know, like my friend Bill Ensign, and you guys could call him, you could ask him. From he has a big facility, he has an awesome facility, but just the testing of the birds, a couple of years back, 3-4 years, he had difficulty having pigeons stay on the property, stay alive. And I told him, I said, you got a problem. He didn't believe me. And I went to a seminar. Well, I was part of a seminar in Texas, and there was a scientist that he was able to take carcasses and tell you if you had an issue. It didn't matter if it was pigeon, a horse, or a cow. He could tell you if you what you wanted to know, what the problem would be. And so in our case with pigeons, you could have salmonella, E. coli, PMV, blah blah blah. So Bill decided to do it. He did a number of pigeons. He did 10 birds, and half of his breeders, good pigeons, came tested positive. Well, he decided to test the whole loft. It cost him some coin to do that. Well, after 3 years, he'll tell you his results of pigeons going to the race are like 99%. No pigeons dying. No pigeons, things will happen still getting lost, the quality of the bird. But his health, and then I'm not talking just with me, I'm talking about across the board, birds going to other parts of the country. His ratio of survival is huge. And that all goes back to, taking the time and knowing what you're going to get on these birds. It's just, really in the old days, nobody would bring a pigeon into the loft. Nobody. The old guys, they would quarantine it and they'd do their thing and be very selective. Nowadays, right? They're on iPigeon, they're on FIPA, they're on, I mean, I don't know the protocol with all these other guys, what they're doing pigeon wise, but a lot of pigeons are carriers and people don't even know it. So once a pigeon has that, you're never going to progress with the bird, or you're bringing something into your loft.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing, you never know what you're bringing in. I will say, and I do think, and I'm going to say this as a whole, when you're buying, and we can use like an iPigeon or whatever, a site where local guys, or call it, they don't want to put them in the bin. Okay. Oh, it's nice. It's a nice bird. It hasn't bred me much. Put it in the bin. No, what do? They put it on an auction site. Because it's a Jansen, they flip it. Then Glenn buys it, he takes it home right away and puts it to his Jansen hen. Okay. A year or two go by. I really haven't got nothing out of him, but he's a Jansen. He's so nice, eh? I can get my money back, put him back on the auction site again. And guys keep going around and around and around with basically pigeons that should be put in the bin. And I think that's where a lot of it spreads.
Well, I mean, the whole auction thing, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. If you see something good, you take an opportunity. It's just part of the game to buy, but doesn't make it right. It's something that you have to still be critical. And, like my friend Bill, I mean, he does not let a bird into his loft without testing it first. And if a bird comes back positive for anything, maybe PMV, adeno, or salmonella, E. coli, he returns it to whoever he got the bird from. And that's how cautious he is. And because once you've been there, right, if you have top pigeons and they're not excelling, you really have to really look and see what's going on. Just like the gentleman with racing. I mean, everybody could have an opinion, but if you really want to see what's going on with your pigeons' performance, test them. Take them to one of the universities to I don't know what state you're from, but there are different places where you could do a fecal test, you could do a blood test, you could do a feather test, and they could tell you if you have something going on within your pigeons. That's the start.
Well, I will tell you, if people are in Canada, especially here in Southern Ontario, we got Guelph University. They do the testing. We took birds there and we tried it. It was maybe because it's a Canadian thing. They wouldn't give us wouldn't give you any information. They tell you there was a problem, but they would never break it down for you. Now, maybe it's different in the States. I know in Europe it's different. But yeah, that's something to look at. It's something, hey, to help be proactive. But again, I always say on certain sites, watch where you're getting birds. Even trading back and forth, watch where you're getting birds. People don't do the homework. You know, they just
Well, like I said, we're going into an age where like OLRs, everything's costly and all that, and you just it's no different than for us as a handler to be prepared with your vaccines and antibiotics, all that. But then it's up to as the fancier to make sure that his loft setup is. I don't want to say it has to be primo, but you really need to provide an environment where the birds can properly breed and stay healthy. And you know, if you do find that the results aren't up to par with a certain pair of birds that you bought, well, either they might not be no good, or there's a health issue, and you can't see it just by the view. It's just like going to my friend Bill, where he had some top pigeons from some top fanciers, and pigeons tested positive for something, carriers. They were no good, and it hurt to get rid of them. I know it did, but but like I said, it's like night and day from a few years back to where he's at today. And that's just a person. I know some smaller lofts that have done it, and they're very happy. I mean, it's very it's challenging if you're going into an OLR and you can't even make 100-mile toss. I mean, you'll see that in my neck of the woods. I lose a lot of pigeons before I even get that far, and some of it's just the topography, but some of it's just some pigeons are just not up to par. When you're putting the stress on the bird, that bird needs to be fit, not just in the loft, but it needs to physically be fit.
yeah, Brian says here, and for people just listen here. RAC in Texas does very good testing, and the results next day after they receive a sample. So I'll leave that comment up there for you people who are watching, people that are in the States. Again, I don't know all the particulars on it, but take a look. There you go. Brian seems happy with it. And again, it's turning stones over, doing some homework. And again, hey, like you said, you can buy an expensive pigeon if it has it, or there's a cockper that you love, he's a super racer or something, and he's on your team, and you test him, and he doesn't come out right. It can be a bad day for you. So you got to be willing to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, you get into these, excuse me, you get into these big international races and pigeons are being bought. And, thousands of birds have been sent, but how many pigeons were actually sick? And you don't know if the pigeon's a carrier or he's coming from a different part of the country. And that's the gamble of you're purchasing a bird overseas and now you're bringing it home, but you don't know what what it really has or has been through or
Mm.
what diseases are there. Like I know, who was it a few years back? Rotavirus was a big thing in Europe, and we never heard of it over here in the States. California, especially, nobody knew what rotavirus was. And in the last few years, guys pop up. In fact, even to this day, guys are dealing with issues they never seen before. And knock on wood, I experienced it a couple years back. Young pigeons, A section, and I was like, "What the hell?" I had like 40 pigeons just overnight, gone out of the
Mm.
blue. So it's weird stuff.
And it's what I find also amazing is every country's got different vaccines and what you're allowed to do. Like Canada, you can't do nothing. You can't have it. You can't even have canker medication for Christ's sakes. You're basically super gluing stuff together to do your birds. And I find it so I call it super gluing. And then you import a whole group of pigeons from Belgium, Holland, wherever, and they've had this. So all they're doing is bringing it all over, and it's just mind-boggling. We always joke about Canada or United States. We're saving the country one pigeon at a time. You know what I mean? Like it's just so bizarro to me how we all can't use these same products.
It's politics. That's what it comes down to. It's about the
Yeah.
dollar.
It's about the dollar. And you know what? And this is how it happens. It always first starts in Europe. And as the birds come in, it spreads throughout the U.S. It goes like that anywhere. But
Well, like here for us, the last few years, knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet, but mycoplasma was a big thing. The eye colds, it wasn't your ordinary eye cold. And some of that could be attributed to chicken guys. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just the environment that you're in. It's just, I have, I mean, certain areas of Southern California were plagued. No explanation. And some of those guys now with pigeons, they've went through that. That was a couple of years ago. Now the thing is, like I said, the rotavirus has hit some of these guys, and what is it? What's it from? I mean, some guys thought it was like an adeno that they got off the race truck because with the fluctuation of the temperatures a few weeks back, but it's gone. It's continuing with some of these guys, and they have no explanation as to why. But that's why you got to vaccinate your pigeons. If it's like a good friend of mine, older guy, his name is Steve, and never believed in vaccinating. Well, now all his pigeons are just going to the wayside. My advice: knob them. 99% of them, knob them. Start over and do it right, and burn your loft. Torch it, and because a lot of times that shit's going to be in there, and you're not going to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I find with the big lofts in Europe, they do their system, they do their vaccinating. But a very good rule that they do is when they see a sick bird, as in a young bird, uh, it's gone. It's out. They don't give it days and days and days and days. There's a sick bird, he's gone. Most of the time, he's he's his head's off and he's finished. But they keep it very, very strict, and I think a lot of guys that they're not like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, when you're dealing with it long enough, you'll it when you do it long enough, you have to go through them. You have to um, uh, be strict.
Yeah.
I mean, that's this part of that's as far as being a manager of your own loft, not just an OLR. That's just a manager of your own loft. You're not doing your birds any justice if you're keeping sick pigeons around.
Yeah, and another thing I always remember, as my dad says to me, you're not a real pigeon man unless you can eliminate pigeons. You can go and say, hey, it's not right, it's gone. It's got to go, it's gone. It's sitting there babying them and say, okay, I'm going to put you here. I'm going to give you this, 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 this. I'll always say, all those pigeons that you find that you have to fix. Tell me where they are at the end of the year, anyways. They're all down the bloody road. You ain't gonna. They don't turn out to be winners. Winners don't get sick, John.
No, you're right. I mean, very seldom will you have a bird that really turns it around. And no, I mean, you could have the runt that could blow your mind. It happens. There's stories like that. But as a rule, um, pigeons that are already handicapped from the start, there's no reason to hold on to them.
Yeah, and people got to remember that as well. Again, not looking always at your pedigree. Say, oh, well, that's out of a pair I paid $3,000 for. It's got to be good. I've got. Oh, forget that. But anyways, we had a comment here. I don't know what it says, but I can't read this language. But I think it's something good. Anyways, hey, that's what's so great about the show. We're hitting all different languages. Um, so, John, for these next few weeks, you're still taking in birds for what? Another 5 weeks?
Yeah, 5, 6 weeks. Yeah,
5, 6 weeks, and then that's it. Cutoff's done.
correct.
What do you think you're going to be at? You have any ideas in your numbers? What are you feeling?
No, well, I mean, based on registration, we're 16, a little over 16, and we should be like 800 in the other race. So plus or minus 100, I would guess. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's going to be another good season of racing, and overall happy, eh? You're not down. You're feeling confident.
I mean, when you have, like, I'm very fortunate. I got a good team of guys. And over the years, I've got some great breeders that have been participating and always look forward to coming, and that's what makes it enjoyable. And new people getting involved, they get to learn, they get to experience it, and most of the time it turns out well. Not just because of the race, but just because of the whole environment and being part of something. And I've always said it. Even for me, racing in San Diego now, it's changed because a lot of those old dinosaurs are gone. But the spirit of San Diego has always been the competition. It was never about the dollar. Triple Crown came, and that became more of a race for a big bang for your buck. But in the end, it was still the fellowship that people always came here for. And it's just we're at a changing point of our life. So
Well, hey, you know what it's about. You know where you're at. I'm going to ask you in a season. I will say this: when I'm working with young pigeons, and that's what you're working with, I have a feeling when I start to know. I say to myself, "I'm home. I'm home. I know what I have here." In your, and what I mean is, I got confidence in them. I know how they are. I know how they're responding. I know how they're maybe training already. But there's normally two times in a season or three times where I say, I'm home. I'm there. We're okay. When will you start to feel that? Are you starting to feel it now, or was still 5 or 6 weeks to go? You're nowhere close to even feeling that.
no, I mean, like I said, I see a little bit of light, but you never know really what's going to happen, and things can turn. These are young pigeons, and so many things can still happen. Guys get excited, how's the inventory, this and that. People don't realize, man, you get hit with a hawk attack, and these pigeons are just starting to fly. Just like you said, you could lose 20, 30 birds just like that. There are no guarantees.
Mm.
So, on my end, you try to prevent that to make sure the pigeons really understand the whole trap training process and going out, being patient. You know, uh, Good pigeons will come back, but not always. If they get up too high and the wind's kind of breezy, they float. I mean, like you mentioned, what's the difference in the lofts, this and that. One thing I should have mentioned is that the lofts are a little over 100 yards away from one another, and the California sits a little bit lower on the property, whereas the Royal's a little higher. It's breezy. It's breezy. I mean, you're only talking maybe 20 feet difference, maybe elevation, maybe a little bit more. But for whatever reason, it's always there's always a wind, a current, and that's why I don't let pigeons go late on the Royal Cup. Never too late, because if they start going, then they just drift away, and then they're gone. If they go over into another valley or over the pass, and yeah.
Yeah, it is so funny to see, and we'll show these training videos, but the valleys and the passes that you have, it really I really think people don't understand it. Those birds get on the other side of that wall, and then it's like, oh, well, where's the loft? Where's it gone? And I will say, when I see lofts that are in open fields, those wide open, the lofts that are, they're sitting in a big field, and there's 25 football fields, it's all field, and that loft sitting out there. It's much easier to break pigeons on those lofts than it is breaking where John is, where you've got very little wiggle room. Birds go up and over. See you later, eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's just being patient. You can't. It's really about getting that pigeon homed in on the loft, understanding everything, calling them in and understanding the whole process. And it takes time. I mean, I had a breeder the other day. Where's my bird on the inventory? Where's my bird on the inventory? Like, hey, it's 2 weeks before you see it on the inventory, before you see a clocking minimal, just because it's a process. You know,
Yeah.
you do. Hmm?
I was going to say, with taking in what you've got to take in, and you've got 6 weeks to go, you've got one race, 1,100 and change pigeons. We know they're all not out. And do you ever find that the people sending the pigeons, like, guys, just relax? And so I know you're doing the inventories, and I think you almost have to keep the people at bay. But people on you being like, "Well, where's my bird? I sent it to you 2 weeks ago. Why isn't it out? Why isn't this? Is there a problem?" Do you get a lot of that?
No, not anymore. Because if I did, I probably had words with the person, and that's it, gone. I don't, I've been doing it so long that over time, I mean, yeah, I could be a nice guy about it, but if they're a stickler and they don't understand, well, what can I do? Some people just don't understand, and they find it easier to listen to somebody that, has been doing this a few years and maybe can relate to them. What I found, it's just like listening to someone who's been in the sport longer than me. They're sure they like to share knowledge, but if the guy doesn't listen, he'll tell you once, he won't tell you again. And
Yeah.
it's that simple. You got to be, people don't understand. You get so many young guys that come in. I know. You don't know. This is a sport. It's patience. When the one loft races first started, and I'm talking back in 2000, 2001, 2000, there wasn't a race that could get 1,000 birds to the race. All those years in the United States, nobody could get 1,000 birds to the race. They could bring in 1,000 birds, 1,000 birds plus, but they'd go to the race with 500, 600 pigeons. And my format of training is basically only because of my terrain and everything, and in the training suited. And now so many of these guys, they're experts. I cut out their heartaches because of what I did. But I had backlash for training the way I did from the old timers because they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in my method. And still, there was articles written in the digest about a one loft race. They should all be released together. Why? In the beginning, you just don't do that. You got to the pigeons have to be educated, and it takes a little bit of time.
Hey, it's funny you say that. You say, well, why? They all should be. They all should be. Well, then maybe, and I'm just saying this, John. Okay, they all should be, right? Then all the money should be in for all the pigeons. And the game starts right at the beginning. Oh, no, no, no. We want to see what makes the 100 miles. We want to see what makes this, makes that. Well, then you've got to be a loft manager to say, I got to get these stupid kids organized, focus on what's going on. But everybody, hey, wait, John, I know, I know, I know. No, you know what you know? Nothing, because you never played the game like this. And those same guys, they're out there playing in small little groups of pigeons, and they're talking like they know what 1,000 pigeons feels like. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, and it's a whole different game. I mean, you have to be prepared. Like I said, 1,000 pigeons plus versus 200, 300 is it's night and day. It's not the same, and you really have to, you know, you have to really go into it really open minded, looking at the whole scenario. And it's just like as a loft manager now. I mean, I'm doing two lofts. So it's two different approaches of looking at pigeons, two different ways the loft space different, two different types of lofts.
Hmm.
And overall the situations are always the same as far as the losses, and it's really interesting that the percentages are always the same.
I'm going to ask you this question. Before the Royal Cup came along, the Royal Cup came what year?
19, I believe.
19. Okay, so before
2019.
so before then, you're the California Classic man. You're running it very well. The events is put on great. Birds are coming good. You have very good races. You everything's building up great. When you make the change, now that you've made the change to do two races, do you find it made you a better one loft manager? Do you think has it improved you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just look at it as I know what I got to do. I already know the pitfalls, and every year is going to be different because of the weather. I mean, that has a lot to do with it, and your breeders. I mean, pigeons nowadays are better. Vaccines are better. Um, But do people still follow the rules? No. But overall, things are way better, easier because now we're dealing with masses. When I say masses, there's just so much more abundance one off races where back in my day, you only had I was one of the only guys in town with 1,000 bird race, and now what we got we got two birds, two with 4 or 5 thousand plus, and then you got 7 of us with 1,000 plus, and the guys all communicate a little bit with one another. Some will communicate a little bit more with one another, and they share this with their breeders, and so more breeders are more in tune what has to be done. So
Huh.
that's why I think we as a sport we've evolved for sure.
Well, it's getting, yeah, it is getting better because you see more birds making it. Um, but hey, you're almost the pioneer of cutting that track out, and you think about how many one lot races picked up and followed and seen what you've done, that you've made other races very successful, and that's a lot of people, you can show them, they won't listen, but there's those few that listen, and they point it, they see it, and they go bang, 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 and like I said, you're one of the best one-off races because the consistency year in and year out, and again, it wasn't given to you. You had to earn it.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, but in the end, it's also the challenge, and like I said, it was the prestige of doing it for the people that were involved, and like I said, now it's just where are the good pigeons coming from? If you take any OLRs, I say that now loudly because that's a fact. I used to be quiet because I didn't but now I do know, and not just through me. Through the two races, but Holiday Cup has had some outstanding pigeons, and to have these breeders that are legends now, man, that's history in the sport, and that might not ever happen. If I fold tomorrow, you're not going to really see, to find those exceptional pigeons. That's hard. I mean, here's an example. We had a guy, this guy Johnny Smith. I'll bring his name up. He's flying lights out. His best pigeons right now are down from. They're across. I know one side from pigeons from this Mesopotamia. Same pigeons that were responsible for the winter in Dubai. Now, Johnny has been one that always kind of bitched and complained, oh, I couldn't get a bird home in the classic, this and that, understanding how the course, how difficult it is. But you're experimenting with other pigeons in the last few years, you don't know. Well, now you see it in your own backyard where you have a 150, 200 bird team. And now we come back and we fly a ball buster race. Which pigeon is home for you? Which pigeons have excelled for you? They go back to the same pigeons that came for me on race day. So that's what people don't understand, is that there's only so many good pigeons. And yeah, you fly a difficult course, it's going to weed out tons of pigeons. But those that get them back, it's rewarding. And in the end, that's, you flew the club when you flew high competition, right? At the end of the season, you just wanted the best pigeons. But now you get into an OLR, and if a lot of pigeons are coming back, well, what did you find out? There was no real true test, and some of that
But
is just topography.
but John, I know your race is consistent, and I know we talked, and not to name names, but big name guy. One year can win 85,000 in your race. Okay, and boy, you are great, John. You're the greatest. You're better than Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny. You're better than God. You're better than Michael Jackson. But then the next year, right? My birds didn't come home. They're gone. God, this race is shit. This is crap. This is this. This is this. When I see this in a pigeon man, I literally have to shake my head
Yeah,
because.
well, that's the new generation. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. It's just, I mean, that's yeah.
But
I mean, it's
but John, you take away your race, okay? You want to regress pigeon racing in the United States? Get rid of these two races. Get rid of the 3 in San Diego, right? Add a few more in Florida, add a few more in Texas, and guess what you really got? Blowing, blowing, and blowing with the wind, because that's all you got. And again, how do you judge your pigeons coming out of Florida? How do you judge your pigeons coming out of Texas when it's so many pigeons together? Am I right?
I mean, I mean, they have their days. I mean, if they fly the days, they're going to have good days and bad days. I mean, it's just the reality of the game. And there tend to be some more faster races, but they have their challenging days too. And in the end, that's part of it, is trying to get a number to the race. But in our neck of the woods, it's you got a certain time frame, and that's what you work with, and whatever that will be.
When I did the 60 minutes and I was talking with Sharon, and I said, one off racing to me is a pyramid. It's a bullshit thing. I didn't mean that about your race. I didn't mean that about the race that Steve Miner and them are putting on. But I meant it in a lot of races. They set it up. They won't have fixed dates for anything. Nothing.
Well, I mean, to their defense, I mean, they listen. Like I said, nobody wants to go into this losing pigeons, and everybody's trying to do their best. So some guys will just, they'll do their best to make the breeders happy. And that is, in the end, that is the most important. So, that's what you got to do. That's how it is. Um,
I
and that's
I
where we're
I
at.
I know that's where it is. And I get that. I just find it.
Yeah, but you got to just remember, I mean, all
I'm
these
just
guys
not.
that take
I'm not a fan of it.
all these handlers that take on a one left race, they're all coming in trying to be successful. So it's painful when you take a hard hit. And some guys like myself will have a little thicker skin to deal with it, and some guys can't. And it's a business. So some guys really just want to roll with it to make the races go well. You look at Victoria Falls. I think they've done, they've had an outstanding operation. I mean, come on, big bucks to fly a helicopter and follow the birds, and they've had losses left and right and no explanation. And it gets into the end where people just get frustrated and they say, I'm done. Were they good pigeons that scored? Absolutely. But for whatever reason, our society now, we're looking at, as a whole, was it a good race? Was it a good race when you got 50 on the drop, or is it a good race when you have 5 or 6 on the drop and you got 20% home? People people look at races as, oh, those are smashes. No, not really, because those 20% that came back were good pigeons. The rest were just pigeons. And
Oh,
that's where people have to ask themselves that. But I don't know, our new way of thinking is yeah, it's just different now.
John, the magic number is 12 and a half to 13, eh? Those one lofts that go below the speed of 12 or in the 12s, 12 to 13 range, normally they're disaster days. And when I look at the track record of the training your speeds are always 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, boom, boom, boom. And a 1200 speed is not a hard day. It's just go to work day. But it's so funny how if all the races stick to 15, 16, 17, 18, they all stick to it, we'll never have birds that'll do 13.
Well, that remains just that's what, again, it goes back to homing ability and the racing aspect. It's like the old timers, they would race a pigeon that was good at the 3. I mean, here in the States, a pigeon that raced well at the 3 and the 4, the bird had to fly a 6 to say if it went back into the stock loft. I mean, that was the mindset, the theory back then. Now, is that changing today's world? Yeah, it seems to go that direction. I mean, it's just become, there's just people are more fearful and not really looking at the situation of what are you trying to create in the loft.
Now we got a comment here, and I don't know if I said this exactly, but it says this. I can't read the name. It's a big, big, long name. I feel you, Ryan. That's what I felt about the Hoosier. If it don't have a GFL band in the pedigree, it's not going to win. Hey guys, I don't want to hear about complaining of the Hoosier because you all know the facts. The facts are the facts. That's the thing. That's the facts. Facts are he's part of that race. He owns that race. But the other fact is 4,000 pigeons participating in it. So I don't think we should whine about it. We should just continue to participate because I know you're not everyone's going to, but it's that's mind boggling. People have said to me, John, I love to fly your race. I'm working with you. We're talking. We do shows. I'm going to be down there filming, right? Not putting birds in the race because number one, I'd love to win the race. But number one, I don't want to win the race and go, everyone's going to say, oh, Ryan's friends with John and now he won. I've never won. I won $1,000 at John's race. I've never done really well at it. It's a great race. But I'm not
No,
entering
it's
because I'm
no.
working
I mean,
together.
I mean, I don't know. When it comes to the whole Gannis thing, whatnot, you got to look at it in a different perspective. That listen, the man has raised the bar in the sport, and he's given people no different like me with a one loft race. I mean, you could hate me, you could love me, you could think I do it wrong, but for those people that have really has something to look forward to yearly, that's the dream. And like what in a guy like Gannis' situation with the birds and the names of the birds and the quality of the pigeons that he's bought, that says something, and people, nobody's ever going to be perfect in this game. Like I said way before, everybody's made a contribution. A lot of these people that you've hated on, but on the flip side, people have to look at you as well as being a contributor to the sport. And that's what I see is that someone who is enlightening, what's going on in Europe, what's going on in Canada, what's going on riding the one loft races. It's just an opinion. I mean, I'm on board with this just to kind of give you guys insight to what I do and my feelings of, what I've seen over the years on what to do, what not to do. And if it helps a guy like Denny, win a race, then I did my job. Um, you know, Everything changes so fast in what we're doing in this sport. People coming, people going. I mean, face it, we're going into the next few years where we're gonna lose that generation of people that really made the sport. I mean, the diehards that really, they blew off weddings, they blew off funerals, they blew off anniversaries to fly pigeons. That generation is changing. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't gone that far, but I sacrificed a lot of my life, and I'm at a point where I do this. I want to continue it, and I work with Ryan to maybe to inspire people to want to be part of something because it's become a tradition, and we see where it goes. For the haters, and it goes both ways. I mean, you really have to look. One Loft Racing was established for fellowship, sure, big prizes, but it was also to get away from the fucking ragging and the nagging. I mean, that's not what it's about.
Yeah. And you go, again, you go where you like. The facts are out there. Do your homework, do your research, do it, and then make your decisions. But
Hey, it's just no. Listen, it's no different. Like what people's races doesn't. In the end, what matters is if you're having a good time. That's all that matters. There's going to be guys that hate on Paul Daniel. Myself, I have a great time when I go there. I like what he does. As far as the race, he's made some changes, and that's all positive. And there's other people there in the Texas Center that I really enjoyed. And I enjoy all the guys that put on races there. Sometimes they're not my ideal type of races, but in the end, they're doing it for what we love. And that's what matters. And I just share on my neck of the woods that people need to understand. I don't fly a lollipop course. And that's the difference between me and 99.9% of the country, maybe the world. because you take Pattaya. We'll see what happens on this 360, 370-mile race. But the last few years, it's been a joke with 40, 50 birds in these 1,800-yard race. You talk about United States with speed races, and here they have these high-dollar races
Hey,
with speeds that are through the roof.
listen. You want me to give you the answer on that one? It's going to hurt.
No,
Oh,
I don't
hurt.
want to hear it. I don't want to be negative
Hey,
because I still got to
listen.
stand this year.
If you want to be positive, the other one in Pattaya, that's more of a John Timmerman style race.
Well, I don't know what happened over there. I do appreciate, the I do appreciate what, again, they're enlightening a lot of top breeders to come together, and maybe it will change. Maybe they'll get the feedback. I don't know. I mean, I was told once, a while back that they changed direction of the course, and of course that changed everything in the race. But, it's not fair to you take like a Victoria Falls that, here they come off they pick up something that was started in South Africa, and these poor guys are trying their best, and they just get kicked in the balls because of the losses. And that's just, I have no rationale as to why or anything. I'm just saying that they're looked down upon because of the losses, and sometimes it's just really the racing aspect.
Yeah,
Kind of like I said, kind of similar to like myself over here.
yeah. There's a lot to it, but people have to be able to read into it and see. I think the real writing, see when guys are trying, when guys are putting the effort in, and not all pigeons. And again, hey John, think about it. Let's think about it this way. You breed 100 youngsters for your young bird team, okay? Wow, you're a pretty big loft. 100 youngsters. Most guys are 50 to 100, right? They pick 5 pigeons out of their loft to send to Gary Smith's race. All 5 of those, they're no good. His best ones are still in his loft. You know, people are picking pigeons. You're not picking your whole team. You're not sending all 100 birds to Gary Smith's one loft race. You're picking 5. Is it easy to pick 5 youngsters and say that's a winner? Very hard.
No, it's hard for anybody. That's why you take a lot of these top lofts and they got a 200, 300 young bird team. It's the percentages of finding an ace is very, very slim. And, some guys will go in with the 10 to 15 birds to have a little bit better percentage, for a bird to score. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, David Clausing, in the last few years has put more numbers in, only because my race has changed, where before I was a 10 bird limit, and then I went 15, and now I'm at 20 some. And that's just because the breeders, everything has changed. But Dave comes into the race because it's more of it's testing grounds, and rightfully so. Because really, you want to race, but you want to challenge on your birds, and he knows as a fact that the ones that come back turn out to be some superstars. Not all, but if you get that one or two good, you get one back that turns out to be a producer. I mean, how many years are you ahead of the game?
Hey,
And that's the excitement of it all.
yeah, and people don't realize that. Again, when you buy birds from certain guys, and I'll say guys like a Dave Klausing, Jonah Malka, they're putting birds into these races. They're paying the entries. They're paying this, paying that. They test the pigeons. They get the pigeons back. You're buying time and years and time and years. So when they say to you, "Yeah, I want 2,000 a youngster," and you go, "What are you talking about? That's crazy," or whatever. It's not. They're doing all the work for you, putting all that payment out, stress, worrying, breeding. Hey, we got a question here, John, for John. John, will you offer a 500-mile like Big Andy? And he says, did they really release them at 500 miles? What do you
Well,
think, John? You
I'm
want a
sure it does,
500
but
miler?
I can't do a five. It's the time of the year. I fly in November, December. The days are short. Our days
Yeah.
are 4 o'clock. They're 4:15. They're already getting dark. That's the reason we fly a 3 and a 350, and the 350 is pushing it. I mean, normally we get pigeons 2:15, 2:30, and it's 4 o'clock. It's getting dark. Sun's going down.
Question: if you were at a different time of year, could you get a 500 mile? on that course? Do you think it's doable?
Oh, it's you know, a friend of mine just flew a 500, and he flew it in old birds,
Hmm.
and it all depends on the winds. It's tough, and it's. I mean, we gave a diagram of the last 150 miles, but when you're at 350 miles, there's mountain terrain there as well. You ask any of those guys in Arizona, and they'll tell you. You know, ask Greg Corey. That's somebody that we need to bring on that lives in Arizona. I mean, he'll tell you. Arizona pigeons are tough. All those guys, I mean, flying through that heat all the years, I mean, it's not easy.
What do you think of these one lofts going now to 500 miles? What do you think of it? Is it good, bad? What do you positive,
I think that,
negative?
I mean, it's everybody would like the challenge. I mean, hey, I think you know better than me, but I believe like in Australia, young birds was 600 miles. You know, hey, it's what flips. You got to remember though, a 300-mile pigeon versus a 500-600-mile pigeon. What are we trying to accomplish?
Much different. I sometimes like, and I'm just going to throw this out here. Give me another 350. Give me another 350. Give me another one. Give me a couple 250s or 350s. I don't know. 500s and what's next? 600s. I don't know. A little more consistency, maybe a few more 300s. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I think another 350 is 7 hours. That's ideal. You start stretching it out like to a 5 and a 6. It's a little different.
Hey, we've had another great week. We've had some good comments. Those birds arrived at 4, flying 1,500. Hey, I don't know. Again, like I said, guys, do your homework. Go follow the. I still say not enough one-off races are doing their homework. Where they're releasing the birds, not showing enough. Just saying that. I think it needs to be. We're getting big prize money. We got to do the guys in the races got to up that. I think they do to give more peace of mind. That's just my thought. Hey, John, we've had another good week, a light week this week. Next week, we're going to have a guest on. Next week, I'm going to be in Belgium. So for me, it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to need definitely coffee. And what more can I say? Thanks for being on this week. We're going to keep in touch, and let's see who we have on maybe next week for our first guest. We don't
All
want to
right,
give
but
too much. We don't want to give too much away.
sounds good.
All
All right,
right.
bud.
Hey,
Have a safe trip.
you have a great night. I'll let you know when I get to Belgium, guys. It's John Timmerman from the California Classic, the Royal Cup. There's still time to get your birds in, and yes, you want the pigeons that when they're done the race have what we call balls. This man's pigeons will have those balls. He'll install them into your pigeons so your pigeons have balls to breed good pigeons for other races. Sorry about that, John. I know, and you don't need a GFL band to fly in the California Classic. Any band will work. Don't worry, John.
Hey,
We'll
no,
we'll get them
he's
there.
been a winner. Ganis Mike was a winner a few years back. He was a big
Hey,
winner.
hey, listen, that man's won. How many? Where hasn't he won? Come on, he's got good pigeons.
He's got
You
good
can't go
pigeons.
this long without good pigeons. And you know what? I hope he comes this year to the California Classic. That way, people get a chance to kick his ass. It's
Well, yeah,
fun.
well,
Everyone loves the little rubbins racing. I want to kick everyone's ass when I'm racing. Pigeon racing. Anyways, John, it's been a good night.
all
Uh,
right, Ryan. Have a
Like,
good
share,
night.
and
Thanks,
subscribe.
bud.
That's John Timmerman. I'm Ryan Feathers Elite. You have been watching. What have you been watching? The Feathers Elite Racing Pigeon Network. Guys, enjoy your Thursday, and we will see you on shipping tomorrow. Sorry, Thursday tomorrow. Shipping night with Lars for the Ticket to Win It race night. We will see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks for flying with us. You guys have a great evening. Be safe and. Whew, my voice is tired. Bye for now.